Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, and we are tracking pretty quiet weather here in our area for tonight so far, and we think it's going to stay quiet not only for the rest of the evening but also overnight as well. We have mainly clear skies, at times mixing in with just a few clouds. In fact, you can see right now on radar we don't have any rain around in our area. We are watching another little batch of clouds over parts of northwest Georgia that'll keep moving into our direction during the overnight hours, but these clouds don't have any rain in association with them at all. It is also possible that by tomorrow morning we may see some spots early in the morning with a little bit of fog around. We don't think it's going to be anything widespread or particularly that dense, but it is possible we could see some of that fog around in the city. And as you can see here, as we've zoomed in a little bit tighter, you can see just a few little clouds here and there, especially on the excuse me, the north side and on the east side of the perimeter, just east of Atlanta, just a few more of those clouds, but mainly clear, more to the east, mainly clear just to the west of the city. But then again, it's in northwest Georgia where we see a few more of these clouds coming in, like over near Cedartown, Rome. You have a few more clouds, not a complete overcast, but just some additional clouds that are building in. Now, here's the system that we are watching, and this is impacting a lot of people around the country here, from up to western New York, all the way back down to Texas, where we see this really broken area of rain and storms that are moving through. So far, it has been more active for areas just to our north. And right now, it is more active in Kentucky, moving into the southern parts of Indiana, also over into parts of Ohio, with these showers and storms that have been moving through. You see the yellow polygons here? That's indicating where we have a couple of severe thunderstorm watches that are in effect, and within those polygons we also have some severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter to those so you can see these areas that we're talking about here. This is over in Kentucky right now, where we see some of those stronger storms that are moving through. We've got a good coverage of lightning in association with these. Here we go a little bit tighter so you can see some of the cities that we're talking about. This is so just north of Tennessee here, near Bryan, Kentucky, also up toward McKee, Kentucky. That line right here, we see these showers and storms. A lot of lightning with that, and a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings along with that as well. As you get over to Hazard, Kentucky, not as much going on, but some of these showers are going to be moving over into that direction. And we'll come out just a little bit more, and I'll take you up to the north of that as you get into areas of northern Kentucky, into the southern parts of Ohio. You can see Columbus right here. There's Dayton, Cincinnati. We already had storms that moved through Cincinnati. This is now getting closer to Parkersburg and around the Huntington area and near Malta, again in parts of Ohio, as that moves on through. And again, that severe thunderstorm watch in effect. We don't see as many warnings there either in that spot, but a few more warnings there in the northern parts of Ohio. And then as you move up into areas of western New York and western Pennsylvania, this line has moved through already, but we're watching some additional storms developing here closer to Buffalo. That still has to move through. Some of those could turn strong, and then we'll take you down more to the south and west. So I mentioned that kind of broken area of rain and storms. So as you go into western Tennessee and through Arkansas, excuse me, in southern parts of Missouri, not much going on. Then when you get over into Oklahoma and over into parts of Texas, this is where we see another part of that system that is moving into some ingredients that are a little more conducive for severe weather. We have additional severe thunderstorm watches, a tornado watch, and then within that we have multiple tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings too. This is pretty much to the north and west of Dallas. We'll zoom in tighter to get some more cities in here. So what we're talking about, these areas, here's Dallas right here. And if you go to the north and west of that, there's Wichita Falls and Graham into parts of Texas. So, and as you see there crossing over the line into Oklahoma, we have a couple of northern Texas and southern Oklahoma. We do have some severe thunderstorm warnings as well as some tornado warnings there moving up toward the north and also to the east as that system continues to move on over. So I'll widen out and show you the entire thing. So you see it here stretching from parts of, as we mentioned, western New York, Pennsylvania, stretching down through Kentucky, and then a break from Tennessee into Arkansas. and then continuing to watch these that are really firing up in parts of Oklahoma and northern Texas. I want to take you back up to Tennessee, though, to see this, where we mentioned there's not any kind of warning or any watches there in Tennessee. So here you see Nashville, here's Atlanta right here. And even though we don't have any watches here, we're watching this part of that line that is nearing Nashville. That has some heavy rain and thunder and lightning, but so far we don't have any of those storms that have turned severe there in parts of Tennessee. So all in all, I'm showing you this entire system because, yes, we're going to be watching this over the next couple of days as eventually it's going to start moving into our direction, and it will bring us some showers, we're thinking, for the end of the week and now lingering into the weekend. But as of right now, by the time it gets to us, the severe weather threat doesn't really look that bad for us. So this is something we're going to keep watching, though, as we go through the next couple of days to see if that'll hold together. And what you're seeing right now, again, from Texas, where there's a level 3 of 5 risk, some of that extending into Oklahoma, then the level 2 going into Arkansas, southern Missouri, into parts of northern Tennessee. And then when you get into Kentucky, again, this kind of outlines those same places where we saw those stronger storms there, where we have in southern Indiana, northern Kentucky, into Ohio, western New York, western Pennsylvania, and western New York. That's that level 3 of 5 risk. So if you're watching this wondering, okay, is that moving closer to us here tomorrow? Not really. We're still going to be fine here tomorrow. And that severe weather risk, you see the level 3 go away. There's a level 2 risk that goes through parts of Texas, Oklahoma, into Arkansas and southern Missouri. From Dallas, again, up closer to Memphis, and then surrounding that is a level 1 risk, and that doesn't make it toward us. We do see the system getting a little closer to us once we get into Thursday, and it's a level 1 risk for those areas just to the west of us. So we're thinking by the time it gets here, it's going to lose some of the ingredients needed for severe weather, and it's not going to be as intense as it moves closer to us as it has been for those areas to the north and west of us. You will notice, though, that the Storm Prediction Center, as they're drawing this level 1 risk, it does kind of clip parts of Dade, Walker, maybe a little bit of Catoosa County there. But again, that's just a border line there that we're going to be watching as the system gets a little bit closer to us. So I'm really thinking that by the time this gets here, it will be a lot weaker. And yes, we do think that we will be getting some rain out of the system, but hopefully not any storms coming through it too. Take a look at the almanac and you can see what we did today with our high temperature that made it up to 82 degrees here this afternoon. Our low this morning was 63. Those temperatures are above where we should be for this time of year. The average high for this time of year is 77. The average low is 56. So these temperatures above where we should be, and we're going to stay above average heading into the next couple of days. Now, where we are below average, that is in rainfall. Of course, we didn't have any rain, any measurable rain out there today. Sorry, the allergies are getting me here. Didn't have any measurable rain in the Atlanta area today. You know, there were a couple of spots that got a couple of drops here and there, but again, nothing really measurable. But notice that rainfall deficit, it's now more than 2 inches below where we should be in rainfall for the year. So we could use some rain coming in. Now, I know that on Friday, many places picked up a lot of rain in some of those storms that came through late on Friday night. But we didn't get one of those heavy showers over Hartsfield, Jackson, so our official rain gauge is still showing a big-time deficit at a little bit more than 2 inches below where we should be in rainfall for the year. Take a look at these temperatures. 76 degrees here in the Atlanta area right now. We do have mainly 70s from Atlanta on the north side in Marietta and Duluth and Athens and Covington, 70 in LaGrange and also in parts of Thomaston. We do have upper 60s though in Peachtree City, Carrollton, and then a few more of those 60s up in far north Georgia too. Everybody else generally there in those low to mid 70s. So these are kind of mild temperatures into the evening hours tonight, and we're going to drop down to about 64 in the morning and then continue to move on up during the day, eventually getting up into the low and even mid 80s here for the afternoon hours tomorrow. We'll see a mixture of sunshine and clouds. Never really a complete overcast, but then also not really a complete sunshine and a crystal clear blue sky. There will be some clouds around with holes in the clouds at times to let some sunshine come through. So we're calling it generally partly cloudy skies. And also in the afternoon hours, when we get some of that heating getting up into the mid 80s and there's enough moisture in the atmosphere, a few clouds around, it could kick up just a couple of isolated showers, but that rain chance is only at about 20% in those afternoon hours. And we're going to hold on to that 20% chance for a shower as well on Thursday. And then for the end of the week, that's when we're going to see the rain chances going up. And when I'm talking about this Thursday rain chance at 20%, that is for mainly the daytime hours. We may actually see that chance go up Thursday evening into Friday. And now some of the models are showing the rain chances lingering into Saturday. Now, I know earlier a lot of the models were indicating a really nice weekend with clearing skies, cooler temperatures in the 70s. But now we're getting some indications that this rain may linger into Saturday before clearing out, giving us a nice day here on Sunday. So as you know, these forecasts are kind of fluid. It all depends on the model data coming in, and any one change on Monday or Tuesday could have an impact on what we see for the weekend. So that's what we're dealing with out there right now. So keep it with us over the next few days as we'll be fine-tuning this forecast for you on that timing, and also whether or not any of those storms late Thursday into Friday and into Saturday could turn strong. So here's the forecast track for now. As you can see, we're looking good out there. I mentioned just a few of those clouds here and there during the evening hours. And as we go to the overnight, early tomorrow morning, maybe just a couple of clouds mixing in, or even a little bit of patchy fog in some spots. We don't think it'll be widespread or particularly dense, but just be aware of some patchy fog in some areas there to start the day on Wednesday. Then going into the afternoon hours, we're going to keep it partly cloudy at lunchtime. In the afternoon, maybe a couple of more clouds, and this is what I'm talking about with just a little bit of green showing up here and there. Maybe just a couple of isolated showers. We're going to give it about a 20% chance that you might see one of those showers in your area. And then anything that develops will die out during the evening. And then getting into Thursday, a few clouds to start, maybe a stray shower in the morning on Thursday. But for the most part, most areas on Thursday are looking pretty dry. We'll just hold on to a 20% chance for a shower for those maybe early morning hours to the north, and then in the afternoon, a couple of showers possible coming in. And then this is Thursday night, where we see that system from the west beginning to move our way, and that could bring us a band of showers, maybe some thunder and lightning late on Thursday. And then we'll see additional scattered showers possible here during the day on Friday. I know this doesn't show a lot on here yet. We're getting new data coming in here. That'll go further into the day on Friday. But a few of these showers developing later in the day Friday could spread our way, and that's what we think may linger a little bit into early on Saturday. Morning temperatures, generally mild, staying a little bit above the average with those temperatures that are going to be in the mid 60s Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 63. Here's that average high for average low for this time of year, 56. We'll get back to average, we think, on Sunday morning after we see some drier air coming in here and clearing skies that'll be moving into our area. And then high temperatures staying above average. The average high for this time of year, 77. We'll be at 84 Wednesday and Thursday, 82 on Friday. Then a little closer to average here Saturday and Sunday, some of that cooler air trying to build in. Again, Saturday some lingering showers, but we'll be clearing out on Sunday. But even with the sunshine, the drier, slightly cooler air will be moving our way with those temperatures that are going to be in the 70s. So here's the European model showing what we're watching here on Thursday. Again, a low risk for a shower, but then Thursday night into Friday, we're watching this. Then Friday afternoon, scattered showers with us, and this is what I'm talking about, especially the European model, or if you're looking at the GFS or the American model, it's not showing as much for Saturday. It's showing it kicking out of here. But the European model, both the AI version and the regular European, is showing showers lingering into Saturday. And then on Sunday, we're thinking everything will be pushing down to the south. And that is that drier and slightly cooler air that'll be with us. And it's looking like a good second half of the weekend and then a good beginning of next week as that area of rain moves on in. So here is a look at what we're watching with that 7-day outlook, where we see 84 for a high Wednesday and Thursday. Both days, temperatures will be around 84 degrees for a high temperature and just that 20% chance for an isolated shower. Then on Friday and Saturday, rain chances up to 40%. Highs Friday, 82, 78 on Saturday, so that cooler air trying to move in here. Then clearing out Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, mostly sunny skies. Highs around 79 on Sunday, and then lower 80s here for your Monday and also Tuesday. Be sure to keep it with us right here on 11 Alive and 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7 as we do extended weather updates for you each and every day.